Today on Suncoast View, overcrowding at the county jail. Sarasota needs a solution, and voters will have to approve the spending. We'll discuss.
A lot of kids becoming overwhelmed.
And you'll want to sing along with Florida Studio Theater's preview of folk music favorites. All that and more right now on Suncoast View. Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. I'm Ted Noah, and I'm happy to be joined by Linda Carson and Renee James Gilmore, the Empowering Voices host here on ABC7. Guys, we know what traffic is like in this area, so it's nice to be able to sit on the sofa and take a break from talking about all our traffic troubles and say hi to you guys.
Oh, well, it's good to see you, and this is so perfect. This is National Teddy Bear Day, and behind your back, the people here at the station call you Teddy. So their own teddy bear.
I didn't know that, so thank you for teaching me something.
It's a good thing.
Today.
It's a good thing, trust me.
Okay, I was going to ask, were you supposed to say that?
I don't know. I had no idea. I honestly didn't. And you know, back in the day when I was, a lot younger, people used to give me teddy bears. So I don't really have any left at this point in time. So now, Renee, what do we have coming up for this Saturday's Empowering Voices? I know you've been working on it already.
Something that is much needed, some laughter. We are going to have. Exactly, and he just couldn't stop. So anyway, we're going to talk about laughter as medicine in these particular times. We all know that we have friends and families who are falling apart because things are just so contentious.
Yeah, and it has that natural dopamine effect, right? When you laugh, it makes you feel good. So yeah, we need him in our newsroom. All right, you can join Renee on Empowering Voices. It's Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. right here on ABC7. Always fun. Today in our Rice's Appliance Kitchen, we have a Suncoast staple on St. Armand's Circle. Columbia Restaurant and owner-operator Casey Gonsmart Jr. and executive chef Jesus Padilla are here with us. And we want to welcome you guys. I could see already from across the room we have some cool stuff, and we're talking about a September fundraising event. Briefly explained Community Harvest to us.
Yeah, absolutely, Ted. Yeah, so chef's gonna be cooking that up for you, so at the end of this segment, you'll be able to enjoy it.
Awesome. Ooh. We can't wait.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's something to look forward to.
And I gotta say, I love the jacket. We'll see you in the kitchen in a little bit, okay?
You got it.
It's time for our first hot topic. Sarasota County has an overcrowded jail, but building a new one requires voters to approve of hundreds of millions of dollars in spending. Sarasota's jail is meant to hold 730 inmates, yet current numbers are over 1,000. According to the Herald Tribune, inmates reportedly sleep in halls. A new criminal justice complex has been proposed, but voters would have to pay for it. Now the commission is discussing a cheaper option, demolishing the jail's west wing and building an 8-story addition. That would increase capacity to over 1,200 beds, but estimates show the jail would be full again by 2042. This seems like a tough economy to get voters to approve anything that costs money, and you can't say that you blame them. Renee, what do you think about this?
I don't think we're going to have a jail large enough to hold all of the people that we could talk about locking up, especially when you consider that we're still talking about locking, plus all the other folks who are just trying to get by and can't afford to, have a place to live. So, and I'm tough on crime too. But we have to make choices, and that's where the complexity comes in. We won't have enough jails to lock up all the people who we'd like to lock up.
And it seems to me right now, because if it's overcrowded, then this makes people angry. It makes people get upset. So we're just breeding these people to go back on the streets and commit more crimes because they're not changing while they're in there. We need something in the system that will actually lead to change, lead to going out and getting new opportunities for a job or something like that. Of course, my first thought was take the cheaper option. But then if it's only going to be filled up in just a few years, it's not a smart move.
And you know what, when you say that, I don't even want to get onto a tangent, but jobs, good paying jobs, are really the solution to crime. You know, when people have money, they don't want to leave it. They don't want to go to jail and not be able to monitor it. They want to be out here with the rest of us monitoring that money. So if we could figure that out.
There's some parts in the state, too, where, especially, I believe, within the sheriff's system, where you see that maybe people that have been on better behavior can go out and do programs instead of staying in the jail. So maybe that could be something that could be visited here. I don't know if that has been discussed or not. But it's been something that they've been looking at for decades now. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because people want people to suffer in jail. Well, you shouldn't be having a good time in there, or they're not having a good time in
Right,
there.
yes.
But they are getting angrier and angrier and talking to other criminals and learning about crime. So I think we need something so that once they go in, they come out better people.
Absolutely, and we always say that. I mean, we've been at this same discussion for decades now, the very same discussion. And people in law, people who work in the jails often say, you do need to have activities for people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they do get too close of quarters, bad attitudes, you know, the bumping up and all of this kind of stuff. It just breeds for bad behavior when it's overcrowded.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of the jail system, the Jail Florida State University kicked off something cool this month. It's a new institute for the arts and art therapy with the imprisoned. It's designed to bring trained therapists and artists into prisons, and FSU research shows art therapy creates lasting change in correctional settings. A recent study of 300 incarcerated people found those who engaged in art therapy showed a 53% reduction in violence and a 64% decrease in this time spent in seclusion. The institute would train people to successfully implement these programs. Now, this makes sense. Could we, you know, do you think maybe here in Sarasota we need to focus on something like that, art rehabilitation or something to stimulate the mind?
Oh, I think that would be wonderful, because it does help you get out your feelings too. And if you're in jail and you're brooding and brooding and brooding, you don't have any outlet. This is a great outlet, and I think it opens people up to other people who are taking these same courses. So this sounds really good to me.
Absolutely it does, and I think that that cuts across the board. Art is just therapeutic, like we said about laughter. It is very therapeutic, and there are lots of disciplines that have incorporated, whether it is children who are autistic, all kinds of things, not artistic but autistic. All kinds of disciplines have incorporated art into therapy.
Yeah, and there's all different kinds of art, and once you've done something and you're happy with it, you've stimulated your mind, you have a sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
So this could be a very good thing.
Absolutely.
So
how
now
many of us are walking around with the stuff that we did in first grade, or our
Yes.
parents or our grandparents have, you know, the same thing that we drew for them, the dinosaur or whatever, and they've been holding on to it for 46 or 47 years.
Oh, that's great. I love it. So, you know, going now from art in jail and jail conversations here to something connected to the golf world, new research may be causing concern here on the Sun Coast. Living on or near a golf course increases your risk of developing Parkinson's disease. Research through the Mayo Clinic found that living within just a mile of a golf course increased Parkinson's diagnosis by 126%. Homes served by a public water system that had a golf course in the water district have a 96% higher risk. The reason? Chemicals and runoff into the water. Golf courses use large amounts of herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides, and they end up in the public water system. Research shows even low doses of those chemicals damage neurons in the brain, the same cells impacted by Parkinson's. So that's a tough thing, because you think about it. We have to treat for insects here and fire ants. I mean, one of our producers actually was on a golf course just 2 weeks ago and got bit crazy by fire ants and had a reaction to it.
Oh, I used to live on a golf course here, University Park, so I loved it out there, but that never occurred to me. Okay, we've got to get scientists on this. We do great things with our water treatment here. It is amazing. But we need to add something to solve this problem.
Yeah, maybe something natural.
And I think, exactly, I think that there are companies that say they have products that would not poison us to this degree, but they are expensive.
It's definitely something that we need to think about. So,
Yes.
here's one that we were talking about before the show started. When was the last time you wrote a personal letter with a pen and paper? For most of us, it's been years. Hello, you don't want to look at my handwriting. The post office reports correspondence email has plummeted 60% since 2001. But psychologists say we are missing out on a chance to make ourselves and others happy. Research finds people are more fulfilled by handwritten cards and notes. Our digital communication of text and email is effective, but not intimate. Some suggest getting calendar reminders for friends' birthdays to send a handwritten note. So I'm not going to lie. Like I said, my handwriting is atrocious. You'd be lucky if you can read it. So I don't do a whole lot of handwritten notes, but there's something very special about getting that physical item in your hand. So I've discovered that like 1-800-Flowers lets you send cards that they type out and they do a fake signature. So I do that. So somebody actually has something. What about you?
Okay. I just have a warning here. Nice to send cards and letters, but be careful what you write. Don't let it be something you'll regret years later. My mother always said, never put anything in writing you don't want to see on the front page of the paper. That I'm reminded of that because I'm going through old pictures and things and finding some love letters that I did not send. I'm so glad I didn't send them. So it's nice to write. Just be sure you're proud of what you write and you don't want to see somebody else reading it aloud on television.
Yeah. What about you? Do you still write handwritten cards and letters?
I rarely do, but I do appreciate them, and I know that they mean a lot because I know they mean a lot to me.
Yeah, it's so much nicer to have something handed to you, you know, this piece of paper that has something written on it versus something on a screen.
It is. Now, what I struggle with, though, is part of why I don't handwrite things is because you can create these beautiful pieces of art, and I can't do anything much less with a crayon.
Yep.
And so I just take joy in, oh, look what I've created here from the art, right? From nothing, but doing it with software, so.
And you're not safe from having things saved anyway with these clouds these days and everything. The digital
It's
stuff is
gonna be
saved
there.
too. So.
Don't write it down if you don't want to see it again. But on the other hand, I still have the birthday cards that I got 5 years ago
me
that
too, yeah.
had little messages written on them. So
I
it
saved
does
them
mean
as
a lot.
And
Yeah,
Christmas cards.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, we're going to check in with our mid-morning forecast right now, and when we come back, we're helping families thrive in the back-to-school routine. All right, we're back, and we're in our Rice's Appliance kitchen with owner and operator of Columbia Restaurant, Casey Gonsmar Jr., and executive chef Jesus Padilla. Guys, welcome. This looks great.
Yeah, Ted. Yeah, thank you for having us. Yeah, we're excited today.
Before we get started on what we're going to cook, we have some stuff to talk about.
Absolutely.
The restaurant is rich with history. I was reading, it goes back more than a century. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely right. So my great-grandfather started the restaurant over 120 years ago in Tampa, and we're blessed to be the oldest restaurant in Florida. And then we're right here in Sarasota, right? So we have the oldest restaurant in Sarasota. We've been here on St. Armand Circle since 1959, and right next door to the Columbia and on St. Armand Circle we have Chacha Coconuts. But we've expanded. We have a Columbia restaurant outside Sarasota. Then we have our Columbia restaurant in St. Augustine in 1983. Our Columbia restaurant in Clearwater. Our Columbia restaurant in Celebration. Then we have our Columbia restaurant in the airport. We have the Columbia at the Tampa History Center.
I wrote it all down because I was like, all these locations.
Absolutely, right? And we have a restaurant in Tampa, another restaurant in Eulalie, outside or in Tampa with a different name called Eulalie, Native-inspired food and spirits. And our newest concept, Casa Santo Stefano, is our Sicilian restaurant that we have right behind the Columbia restaurant in Ybor City. And so it's been great. It's been there about 5 years next month. But we're really excited right now to talk to you about our community harvest.
All right, yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So during the month of September, the Columbia restaurant, for the last 28 years, we've been able to donate over $4.4 million to local nonprofit charities.
Wow.
And so, right, so we started off talking about 120 years of history, and you really have to immerse yourself in the communities in which you do business in, right? You couldn't be around that long unless you did that. And so we started this community effort, and we created this community harvest. So what we do, and while Chef's getting here, we're cooking some extra virgin olive oil, right? And some garlic here. We're making something called steak salteado. All right, so we have garlic, olive oil, filet tips here. We have green peppers, Spanish chorizo, little Columbia seasoning, right, which you can get on our website, right, our ColumbiaRestaurant.com. And then we also have our Spanish onions, potatoes, and mushrooms, and then our special salteado gravy sauce. But going back to Community Harvest, the way this program works is that you come in and dine at any one of our Columbia restaurants, whether it's in the airport or Tampa, Sarasota, and the surrounding areas, and Eulalie, Casa Santo Stefano, so 10 of our restaurants, and you'll be given this ballot. And so here it is, and so we've pre-selected, in Sarasota, there's about 15 charities we've pre-selected. and including Suncoast Charities for Children, which is one of our favorite, which Lucy was talking to you all earlier. She's a gem, and she's a great supporter of ours, and we're a great supporter of hers. And you come in and dine in our restaurants, and our server will present you with a ballot, and you select which charity means something to you. And we hope that we found some that are near and dear to your heart. If they're not, you can handwrite your own. And so, absolutely.
And it says here, eat well, do good.
That's the plan, right?
That's your motto.
Absolutely.
So now, with each having so many different locations, are the menus varied for each restaurant, or do they all pretty much they have the same staple?
Right. So all the Columbia restaurants have the same menu, except for the 2 cafes. The menu's about a third or a quarter of the size. But all the Columbia restaurant menus are the same. But obviously our Sicilian restaurant and Eulalie are much different experiences. And if you haven't been, you got to go. We got to get you over to Tampa.
I know, I'm going. Tell us a little bit what else we see on the table. You see some books. It looked like on your website there's a shop.
Absolutely, yeah. We're really excited about our new online store. Thank you. Really excited about our new online store. So any of these items are available for purchase on there. These are hand-painted ceramic pictures that come from Spain.
Beautiful.
So we have a relationship with a family there that hand-paints all of our things. Our Columbia seasoning, which Chef already added to our dish right here. I put it on everything. Every person I know always wants me to say it.
Yeah.
Everything, except for dessert. Except for dessert. And then we have our Spanish coffee, our 1905 salad dressing, right, which you can buy in public,
the best.
right, or online or in public, right? It's the best. And we have some Cuban beans to make espresso. We have 2 cookbooks, our anniversary cookbook, and then the cookbook that my grandmother did. We have a bottle of wine named after my grandfather, Don Caesar, and then we also have our sangria mix. Right, which some people are pretty partial to the sangria. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely. So
and we see some now. Once this is done, do we put this on top of the yellow rice?
no. So the yellow rice will go on the plate separate, and then the entree will go right there below it. So as you see, chefs adding our salteado gravy, right? So this is a Cuban stir fry, is what that is.
Okay.
Right. Right. So and anybody can do this at home. It's relatively easy.
Oh, yeah,
right. So you
easy
just
for
saw
you to
chef
say.
added a lot of different parts into here, but you don't have to add all those, right? If you don't like mushrooms, don't put mushrooms in there, right?
Right,
You don't like
yeah.
onions,
I'm
don't
gonna
add the
come out
onions.
and let you do it.
Linda's going to be the first one to taste it. So now, let's say someone didn't want to go, didn't have the time to go to the restaurant, but they thought, oh, maybe I'd like to help to donate to any of the charities. Can they do that through the website as well, or do you have that as an option?
So we don't have that as an option, which is not a bad idea for our 29th annual. But any one of these charities, I mean, on their own website there, we have links to their website on our website, and then you can obviously give to them as you'd like to. But it's really a great thing, right? Because a lot of people don't know how to give properly or don't really know how to donate, and it's not really something that they do that often, right? However, you can come dine with us, and like it says, eat well and do good, right? It doesn't cost you anything, Linda.
Great motto, great motto.
I love that concept.
Absolutely,
We're
right?
out of time here, guys. All throughout September, you can eat at all 7 locations of the Columbia Restaurant, plus Cha-Cha Coconuts, and give back to local nonprofits. Learn more at 1905familyofrestaurants.com.